And I really do think this program has peaked. And I know that's an opinion, but what else do we have here this morning? But the trajectory is really bad.
2021 was an interesting year for Clemson. Defensively, they returned a championship caliber defense, but offensively, they could just never get it together. Now that Tony Elliott and Brent Venables, Dabo's longtime coordinators, are off to be head coaches, what will 2022 bring for Clemson? Let's check it out. It's no secret that in 2020, Clemson relied heavily on Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence, and it showed in 2021. Etienne in 2020 had 34 explosive plays on his own in 12 games. If you compare that to the first 5 games of 2021, Clemson's entire offense only had 31, and 10 of them came against South Carolina State. Trevor Lawrence did the most with what was becoming a thin receiving room. Losing Justin Ross the season prior hurt, and so the Tigers relied exclusively on Travis Etienne out of the backfield, slot receiver Amari Rodgers, with occasional deep balls to Cornell Powell. Trevor and Travis were such high caliber talents that they were able to cover up any holes in the Clemson offense. An opposing coach even came out and said the amount of times on 3rd and 18 that they would throw a check down to Etienne and he'd make 8 people miss and gain 26 yards. That happened all the time. And it did. But once they were off to the NFL, it was expected that DJ would pick up where Trevor left off. However, there was a small problem. There's nobody like Trevor Lawrence. And for the first time since the 2014 college season, Clemson didn't make the college football playoff. To start the 2021 season, they opened up with the eventual national champions, Georgia. In that game, both teams couldn't get anything going offensively. Georgia's defense held Clemson to just 180 total yards. But the biggest eye-popping stat is Clemson only gained 2 rushing yards. Yeah, only 2 rushing yards on 23 carries. It also didn't help that DJ was sacked 7 times. One loss, especially early in the season, does not keep you out of the playoff. But losing on the road at North Carolina State essentially ended their playoff dreams. And losing at Pitt before Halloween kept them from winning the Atlantic. Throughout the 2021 season, DJ was off target, and at the time that they were 3-2, Clemson ranked among the worst in the country in scoring rate, yards per play, and 3 and outs. The positive though, Clemson finished 10-3 and won 6 straight to end it. This might be Dabo's best coaching year. Finishing the season 10-3 with some of the lowest rated quarterback and wide receiver play in the ACC is impressive, but the defense did have a lot of help to do with that. New offensive coordinator Brandon Streeter will bring in a different perspective to the offensive coordinator role. He's been the quarterback's coach the last few years, so the hope is that he taps into the full potential of DJU. One thing to watch out for is freshman Cade Klubnik. The #1 quarterback in the 2022 class will push for the starting role. And if DJ can't get the offense going, Cade might not have to wait too long to see the field. The best news for this Clemson offense is they're 3 deep at running back, with Shipley, Pace, and Maffa. It should also be noted that Dabo has watched 3 former blue chip recruits leave the program in the past couple of years. Shea Malusi, its top running back signee in 2019, entered the transfer portal in 2021 and is now the starting back at Wisconsin. DeMarcus Bowman, the #3 running back in the 2020 class, left in October of 2020, and he's now at Florida. And earlier this past season, Lynn J. Dixon announced that he was going to transfer too. The offensive line the past few seasons has taken a dip, but some of that can be accounted to just how teams are playing Clemson. In 2020, Clemson faced 7 or more defenders in the box on about 30% of its offensive snaps. In 2021, around 20%. Defenses didn't load up the box as much because Clemson didn't have Travis Etienne. But some of the blame still falls on the O-line, which has seen declining production 2 years in a row. Some of the blame should also go to the development of the receiver position. Clemson has signed 7 receivers in its past 3 classes, and 6 of them were 4-star and 5-star recruits. But of that group, only Joseph Nada has grown into a bigger role, while the other 6 haven't panned out the way they hoped. The defense will be a strength yet again. The entire starting D-line of Miles Murphy, Tyler Davis, Brian Bresee, and Xavier Thomas all return, plus some key reserves as well. James Skalski and Balin Spector are both gone, but Trenton Simpson, who led the linebackers with 6 sacks, is back, and there's highly rated young guys ready to step into bigger roles. They're extremely deep at safety and have a lot of options to replace Nolan Turner. The only real question to this defense is corner. They lost Mario Goodrich and Andrew Booth to the NFL. Other than that, this team could be positioned to have a huge bounce back. Oh, especially if the offense is workable. Clemson still has a lot of talent on the team, so it's ridiculous to think that they're gonna fall off a cliff. Their days of winning national titles remains to be seen, but they should be the favorite to win the ACC this coming season. Of course, this is just on paper, and what we see on the field may be different, but what do you guys think? Does Clemson go back to the playoff in 2022?